Good morning and welcome to 28storms.com. This is a brief tropical weather update on this Thursday, November 3rd. Today's enhanced infrared satellite image continues to show vigorous convection trying to develop over the Virgin Islands, extending northeastward into the central Atlantic. This is all in association with a surface trough, but the latest water vapor continues to show upper level winds are just way too hostile for any tropical development in this region. Now, if we go back to the enhanced infrared for just a moment, you'll see that this is the remnants of a stalled frontal boundary that passed through several days ago, and we have yet another cold front trying to come through across the northern Gulf of Mexico, and it extends northward into Mississippi and Alabama. If we take just a quick look at the mosaic radar out of the United States, we'll see that there is a surface low over southeast Missouri, and this cold front is extending southward once again, all the way into the lower Mississippi Valley, where some lingering showers will be possible all the way through this afternoon. This mid-latitude weather system is only going to stabilize the northern Gulf of Mexico even further as a lot of this dry air continues to move on down south, removing much of the moist profiles that were there earlier this morning. However, we will be taking a close look at this mid to upper level disturbance. It's going to continue moving eastward, and as we go into the weekend, it's going to be located just off the east coast of the United States, and some of the model guidance is trying to develop a weak surface low out ahead of that system. It would be subtropical in nature, but something to look at nonetheless. Now, considering that it is November, we're not expecting much in the way of tropical activity this month, and the odds of this system ever becoming a classified tropical cyclone are still more than likely fairly low. But nonetheless, this is the latest 0Z run of the CMC model, and we are going to track the 850 millibar vorticity max that is now beginning to exit the central part of the country. And as we go into around day 6, notice that it begins to stall out over the southwest Atlantic, and then it's going to try to organize over the Bahamas. Now, the CMC is oftentimes too aggressive in such a scenario like this, but that is just one model run to look. And the latest 6C run of the GFS is also showing the same system beginning to dive down into the southwest Atlantic between the Bahamas and Bermuda. Now, the big key difference, though, is that it's not showing quite as organized of a system as we go into day 6 and day 7, and it's also oriented a little bit closer to Bermuda rather than the Bahamas. And finally, this is the 0Z morning run of the European model. We see the trough advecting into the western Atlantic, so that is the one thing that all of the models agree upon. And then the main differences between the models exist in exactly where a surface low may form or persist, and the European really drops this idea by 96 hours. However, as we go closer to day 6 and day 7, another low tries to form over here across eastern Cuba, and then a secondary low will try to develop a little bit closer to Bermuda, and that is an overall agreement with what we saw with the GFS. And then finally, as we go into day 9, we have this more powerful trough beginning to dip down into the southeast United States, and that is going to help turn anything that is still located over the western Atlantic northward as it becomes absorbed by this much more non-tropical and larger system over the mid-Atlantic and New England states. So at this current point in time, I would say that the chances of any western Atlantic development are likely below 10% in the 4 to 8 day range, but that is really the only game in town in the Atlantic or Eastern Pacific basins. We only have a few weeks left in the season, so slow times are ahead, and if anything were to develop within the next 10 days, this would most likely be it, but again, those chances are fairly low. So thanks again for visiting 28storms.com. Don't forget to check out the website today because we do have a discussion regarding the potential for severe weather across portions of the central and southern plains during the early part of next week.